Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, August 25th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around as I talk. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using a 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, AMC. And no, you did not get rich overnight. Unfortunately, these higher prices over here are due to the fact that there was what is known as a reverse split, which is essentially just a manipulation of the share structure. And in other words, the downtrend continues, and it just continues now with shares at higher prices. But same general idea still follows that I talked about yesterday. I'm going to continue to follow this. AMC is a cult stock. So many people out there are looking for just any reason at all to buy. And when you have cult stocks that start to go sideways, it's at least worth throwing out the question, hey, is this some sort of leading indicator that a bottom is in? Now, I wish I could say that trading was as easy as finding cult stocks that are going sideways, and then that for sure means that the price is going to go up. So that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is it's at least a plausible rationality and something to worth at least keeping an eye on. And that's what a watch list is all about. Finding unique, finding interesting situations, and not rushing out and randomly buying stuff, but watching it and seeing what happens. So if you like these sorts of scenarios, then definitely keep an eye on AMC because it is a very cult-like stock, and people are looking, like I said, just for any reason to potentially buy. So we'll see if this sideways action is indeed the leading indicator of a bounce to come. Next one, MULN, another solid day here. There is a bit of perspective that goes into that comment. I fully realize that if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, or maybe you bought right there, well then yeah, from that angle, the chart's not looking very good. But from the bigger picture point of view, the chart has done two key things. It's put in higher highs, and it has put in higher lows. And that's the name of the game from a trend building perspective. Again, fully understand those of you that, wanted to, that bought right there and wanted to, sell 3 minutes later, not looking good for you. But assuming you care about the bigger picture, everything is still fine. Now, as far as key levels to watch moving forward, definitely the level that stands out like a sore thumb, all about that pink line there, 200 period moving average. A little tricky this morning because the price actually did get up above it, but then when it came to maintaining above that level, you can see he fell back below it, then went right back to acting as resistance both there and there. So any sort of attempted returns back upwards, it's all going to be about that pink line there, and not necessarily can the price break above it, but more so can the price stay above it if it does get back above that area. In terms of levels of support, main level that I would consider a very important level is all about that purple line right there, the 50 period moving average. But as of now, price isn't anywhere close to that area, which is down around 60 cents. So yeah, it's important, but not really relevant. I think the most relevant thing is, can the price curl back up and push up through that 200 period moving average? We'll see what happens. Next one, NVDA. Everybody and their brother's uncle was talking about this one yesterday with earnings, and what we had is just the classic gap and trap. So the price closed right there on Wednesday, gapped up right there, open there. Some poor souls were buying, and then from there, just really, move back to the downside. But once again, that is all a matter of perspective, because if I squeeze this thing down, you can see that from the big picture point of view, this thing is still very much so in an up. In fact, look at it. There's a gap and trap. There's a gap and trap, and here's a gap and trap. All those situations, everything turned out to be fine, which doesn't guarantee that this situation is going to turn out to be fine. My point here is that, once again, it depends on what your perspective was. Day traders buying right there and wanting to buy and sell within 7 minutes, not looking good at all. In terms of key levels to watch moving forward from a trading standpoint, as far as supports are concerned, keep a close eye on that purple line there, 50 period moving average. Price is getting pretty close to there, and that area is going to be valued right around the 465 mark. In terms of areas of resistance, the level that stands out to me, that I think a lot of people will probably be watching and getting into play, is that trend line right there. So keep an eye on that dynamic, which puts the breakout point, somewhere up, around the 485 mark, give or take a little bit. But it's, rational to think, not guaranteed, that if the price can come up there, break that trend line, that trend line break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure. So we'll see how this one closes out the week on Friday. Next one here, ELIQ, and this is just a fantastic classic pattern here. Maybe you already see it. If not, let me get it put in a play, and let me be very clear. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply this is a great discovery on my part or some sort of special, secret, talent. I assure you a lot of people have noticed this, and I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements, and that's what we have here with the pattern. So as far as the top of the pattern, I'm going to keep this all one color now. We have our area of resistance, and then I'm going to go ahead and use that pink line there as our support trend line. So if I extend that out as our support, and then we have the big move up right there, and then make it a little bit more visual for you golfers out there. Let's put a golf flow down there. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it valid, even if you just want to call it self-fulfilling prophecy, that if the price pushes up through that level, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a valid potential scenario. So if you like bull pennants, you like stocks down below $5, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, BRSH, and there's no doubt about it, this one's looking pretty rough, but for you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly, but yes, no doubt about it to think that this thing gapped up, ran all the way up to that area, and then to think some poor souls bought right there, and then after that just has bled and bled and bled as it's worked downwards. But there can be opportunity in ugly, and the opportunity, or I should say potential opportunity, because nothing is guaranteed. But can the price come down here, this former breakout area, right around $2.30? Again, nothing guaranteed, but this is just based on a foundational rule in charting that when levels of resistance are broken, and this was a former area of resistance, they tend to act as support. So guarantees nothing, but is it plausible to think that if the price comes down there, it could act as support and get some sort of bounce? That is certainly plausible. But as always, there are, and I know I've said this a million times, but I want to reiterate that because there's no guarantees, you got to manage risk. You got to do those stop losses. But from a risk-reward scenario, you could be looking at a very, very nice potential reward if you do get a bounce versus what's being risked to the downside if it just keeps dropping. But overall, if you like these sorts of potential, opportunities in the ugly, certainly keep an eye on it. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live event. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description box, or if you're watching right at my site, there's an area on the webpage you can click on. One special note, it is a genuine live event. So a couple scenarios, maybe already something on your schedule this evening, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you completely missed it. But if you do miss it, then go ahead, send me an email, and I'd be happy to send you a replay link. All I ask is because it's live, the event does first need to happen, then I got to get it uploaded, and then I'd be happy to send you a link to it. So if you can't make it live, like I said, send me an email. If you can make it live, then go get signed up, and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one here, ticker symbol VFS, and overall, very nice move. This will mean a bit more to those of you that watch past videos, but if you did, drew in that bull flag pattern right here, and you can see today was finally the big breakout that occurred. So really, it's gone from a bull flag into a bull pennant. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because you already heard me talk about a bull pennant, and I want to respect your time as much as possible. So let's just quickly get this drawn into play here. So we have the area of resistance. We have the support part of the pattern. Change that to green. And then just to keep it all one color to hopefully make it a little bit easier to visualize. So we have our resistance. We have our support. You have the big upwards move right there. You could use that part too. But either way, you have a bull pennant pattern. Maybe you just want to call it a symmetrical triangle. That's fine too, whatever floats your boat. But the point here being is that this thing is putting in higher highs, higher lows, and it's probably set off that many more scanners and volume alerts after today. So you got to think a lot of people are watching and wondering, can it break through that area? And if it does, completely valuable to bring in that self-fulfilling prophecy angle of things. But we'll see what happens with it today and see if it can get a good break of that $50 mark. Next one, TSLA Tesla. And first update I'm going to do is just adjust this area of support because it was indeed violated right there. Last 30 minutes really pushed the price downwards through it. So want to keep an eye on a new level there. So first note, when levels of support need to be adjusted downwards, not exactly a good sign from the bull side of things. But the area here that I'm very curious about now moving forward is this area right here at now the $229 mark, which going through the history of things, just so you can see where this is coming from, support, support, support. So does it come down there and once again act as support? The previous times it has been down there, you can very clearly see, got to bounce, got to bounce, got to bounce. So does another bounce happen here? No guarantees, but certainly very valid and very rational to think that way. As I pointed out previously, all about that pink line there as resistance. You can see that's exactly where it got rejected from this morning. So if there is any sort of bounce and move back upwards, then from an overarching standpoint, it's definitely all about that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. Next one here, PLTR, just a nasty, savage move. There's no other way to put it. A nasty gap and trap, as I already talked about. Price gapped up, some poor souls bought right there, and then just completely just dumped. So just a brutal day, and a good reminder of why you better have risk management within your strategy. But as far as levels now to watch moving forward, the area that I'm curious about, and I don't know, I think there's probably several people that have drawn this trend line here. I can't say that for sure, obviously. But I say that just because, is this some sort of potential self-fulfilling prophecy point? I think it's rational to think that down here around the $14 mark, you could very well have people saying, hey, it's bounced off here before. Can it bounce off there again? So if that intrigues you, then you can keep an eye on it. Obviously, if you disagree with that trend line, no problem at all. Then you probably you're just not going to pay any attention to that. Maybe you're more so looking at a double bottom if this thing really wants to drop down that much more, with the potential double bottom being down here at that 1368 mark, which is just coming from the lows from last week right there, or excuse me, just a few days ago. So keep an eye on that dynamic. So a couple different choices in terms of where you think it could potentially bounce if you do like to play bounces. As far as areas of resistance, if this thing snaps back up, then definitely the key level to watch in the near term going to be that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. But yeah, all in all, a nasty day. Next one here, AMD. I'm going to go through it very quickly because same general idea, a nasty day. Got the gap and trap, just absolutely brutal. So let's move this down here to the potential bounce point of $100.85. Let me change that to green. And there's nothing complicated at all behind this. In fact, let me just zoom in here. Other than the fact of that is where the price once, twice, 3 times, 4 times has bounced. In fact, last 30 minutes of the day, you can see good solid volume bar right there. And then also got a good little green candle. Not really a little green candle. You got a good solid green candle. Does that mean that a bounce is coming? Of course not, but it certainly becomes a lot more plausible at this point. And it goes back to the whole talking point of, I think AMD has a cult-like component to it where you got a lot of believers and you got people just looking for any reason at all to buy. And you're potentially getting that here with the sideways movement, the last 30 minutes, the big surge upwards, and then the green candle there. So we'll see if it indeed can get a bounce on Friday. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market is going to rise, this one will also rise. It just allows you access at a much lower price point. And the NASDAQ did not rise today at all. So therefore, this one had just an absolutely brutal day here. You can see just a nasty gap and trap on this one here, and had a nasty close. I mean, last 30 minutes, think about AMD, what we just looked at. At least that one had a good, solid last 30 minutes, green candle. Here, NASDAQ had a big, solid red candle to close things out. So not a good day any way you look at it. So certainly some updates need to be made. First potential level of support now moving forward, going to be down there at the 3670 mark. So keep an eye on that. And then if things get really nasty, the next potential area, and I'm not saying at all that this is where the price is headed, but who knows? If this thing has another nasty day, another potential area where it could be headed down there at 35.45. So keep an eye on those levels from the support side of things. If the price does try to bounce, then as you've already heard me talk about in other charts, it's going to initially be about that purple line there, 50-period moving average. You can see right there, it's already rejected the price a couple times. But if there is a big snapback bounce, then yes, 50-period moving average will be that first key level. But then after that, that pink line there, the 200-period moving average. But there's no doubt about it, a lot of downwards momentum right now, especially when you factor in that final 30 minutes, big red candle. So it seems as though 3670 has a pretty good chance of getting tested. So that's kind of the first question in my mind. Can that level hold? If it does get tested, Friday is going to be very entertaining. So that wraps up the top 10 list here. I forgot. Usually I have my email right here, so I just threw myself off. But remember, clay@claytrader.com should be right there as my email. But if you did enjoy what you saw, then definitely go get signed up for that free class. It'll be tonight, Thursday, August 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So like I said, get signed up for that. But if you can't make it live, then like I said, drop me an email, clay@claytrader.com, which, like I said, should have been right there. But clay@claytrader.com, and hopefully I'll see you there. But if not, like I said, send me that email. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these, please do 2 things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment, say hi, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching tomorrow. Those 2 things help out the channel, and I appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. So get signed up for that free class or drop me an email. Thanks for watching. Take care.